What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about the core four versus the original trio for Scream. I thought this would be kind of fun, and for some of these videos, or I guess specifically in this example for this video, I'm recording it ahead of time, so this idea came into my head, and I was like, this could be a really fun thing. So here's what I want to start with. I personally don't believe the core four is as good as the original three. The purpose of this video was going to be just saying, which is which. I want to take it one step further. And I definitely implore you, please, if you want to leave in the comments, who do you think is better? I definitely want to hear from you because maybe I'm wrong. Maybe a lot of people do prefer the new four over, Sidney, Dewey, and Gale. But I want to take it a step further and say, well, because I know in my heart who I prefer, who I like, right? What would make the core four? What do they have to do? What does seven? Do they have to keep going past seven? Right? What does it have to do to beat out the originals? And that's a really tough one. That's a tough question. But I think for Sam at least, I feel like there's kind of an answer there. So that's where we're gonna take it. So I prefer the three. I actually kind of thought of this when I was thinking, okay, eventually I'm going to rank like a top 50 list. I'm thinking go big or go home. So I want to do like a top 50 list for characters. And, I think of some of my favorites, it's going to be, the Sidneys and Deweys and Gales of the world probably first. And then it would be kind of the newer age cast. And that's just, again, that's my preference. That's just what I like. It doesn't matter. I think for Sam, a situation where just doing something different with her may put her in contention. There's a tough thing when it comes to nostalgia. There's a tough thing when it comes to starting out a franchise. This could probably go deeper than I really want it to go, to be honest with you. But, you think about when a franchise comes out and when it hits big, when it literally makes a name for itself. Well, can you ever truly beat that? It's kind of an unfair thing, and maybe it's always held against the franchise. And you could argue that for, say, Scream 1. When you think about openings, all-time openings, you always compare it to Scream 1, because Scream 1's always going to kind of be the best. When you think of the monologues and the revealing of themselves, you think to Billy and Stu, or at least a lot of people do. Maybe not everybody, but at least a lot of people do. When you think to the final girl of the Scream franchise, it's Sidney, right? Now, newer age, it's Sam, but it's it's hard to take away or replace. And that's what, when franchises want to pass the torch and stuff, it's natural and it is possible, but you're always contending with those are the originals. Those are what made the movies the movies. Can you ever, yes, you can pass the torch. Yes, you can keep going with a new group, but will it ever be the same? No. And maybe it's not intended to be, but will it ever be better than? I don't really see it. How many times does it really happen? I guess would be kind of my question, or at least in my belief, how many times has it worked in a film franchise? I guess we can specifically keep it to films for Scream's purposes. It's tough. It's tough to even think of any where they've kind of outdone themselves with a kind of a newer cast. I'm sure there's an example that I'm just not thinking of right now. But so what do they have to do? Well, actually, I kind of just said it. You don't want it to be the same, right? Like, franchises need to evolve, but specifically when you are trying to, you're quote unquote replacing. And because Scream is so self-aware, which I love about it, you do have Sam being the final girl. You do have Sam being the lead, and she's called that by Mindy. You know what I mean? They're so aware of that situation. Mindy literally is Randy, right? And that's been said before as well. Tara, it's hard to actually place her. You could definitely think of Chad as the Dewey type, right? So, they've found some of their roles, and some of them I think they're more they feel like they're able to say it out loud a little bit more than others, right? Tara's kind of like a co-final girl. There's really no perfect slot that she fit into. Mindy fits into Randy. Chad, I think, fits into Dewey, but they don't really say it. We can kind of just observe that that's what's going on, and obviously Sam being Sidney. However, you have to do something new. And so, what is this doing something new? Well, Sam being the descendant of Billy, and Sam having that darkness in her that Sidney really never had. You know what I mean? Sidney's killed people, which is something for sure, and not everybody can say they've done that. But, Sam is a little bit, taking it a little bit step further. She definitely has a more aggressive feel to her. So, I don't know if, and I'm being honest here, I don't know if Sam can ever, beat Sidney. I think Sam in Scream 6 is awesome. I will never take that back. There's been some serious weird flipping on the movie. We've talked about that, right, in kind of opinion videos I've done where, the killers, it's people were afraid to criticize the movie when it first came out, and then everybody on the Scream Twitter, just on a certain date, they decide, oh, we're going to bash it now because it's socially acceptable. These people just kind of ride waves. But even that too, sometimes they like Tara. Now Tara's the prop, like everybody wants her to die, like nobody likes Jenna Ortega. It's so weird. You go to Twitter to die in your soul, I know that for sure, but you know what I mean? It's hard to actually get a gauge on it. I like Sam a lot in 6. I didn't, obviously we've talked so much about 5, but Sam's getting there. I mean, really the trajectory of Sam could be something that, you know, again, is it a one-to-one replacement? And would I literally be saying, well, Sam is better than Sydney? Well, are they the same character? They still kind of are, in, you know, in a stereotypical, I guess, kind of thing. But Sam is trying to be, or they're trying to make Sam different. And what they do in Scream 7, I really think is that make or break. I'm actually a little worried because like I like Sam a lot and I want her to keep improving. If you got the same quality performance out of Melissa and the same, I would say, good writing and good direction that she gave her in 6, again in 7, you'd be good. But the issue kind of is you actually need to keep going. Whatever you do to her character is very important in Scream 7 and almost does make or break her. You know, somebody like Chad, I think Chad, the potential, you know, for him being Dewey, they are the same. They are also different. They're both very likable. Chad is a very likable, I think, character, and Mason, I think, a very likable person. I think what maybe holds him back is the death stuff, you know, the newer age death stuff, because you had Dewey and all that, but I think Chad's has just always been taking it kind of up to 100, where it's like, well, we're going to kill him, but we're not going to kill him, which we did that with Dewey, or Wes did it with Dewey, but it's just, we're going to go really extreme now, right? Mindy and Randy, it's probably just a matter of whose monologues you prefer, who's a little bit more witty or funny, you know, at any given time. I guess it's possible Mindy could kind of, but like those characters, I don't know, they're so centralized. They're supposed to be like a specific focus. And actually, technically, I said like the original 3, right? So like the trio, Randy would be the 4th. I mean, they did have a core 4, I suppose, for 1 and 2, like this movie had for 5 and 6. But again, a little tough with what happened to Randy. And then there is no perfect Gale substitute. You have Tara kind of as a wild card, and maybe that's what it was kind of meant to be, right? Maybe when they were kind of planning this all out, they said, well, Mindy is Randy, Chad is kind of Dewey, you know, Sam is Sydney, and Tara, we can have fun with her. You know, we can do all sorts of different stuff that you can make her the co-lead and all this different stuff. I think she's tough where they're going to kind of elevate her just because so much of it is on Sam. You know, I mean, I'm trying to think, like, what do you do with Tara? And maybe that's why people want her, or they're okay with her dying, or whatever that situation is. Maybe that's why, is because Tara's kind of in an odd spot where, I mean, I think she's very likable. I think obviously Jenna is an incredible actress, and I think that the power of Jenna is very hard to, you know, undersell or anything, but you think of Tara and it's like, well, Sam is kind of supposed to overshadow her. It's kind of the point. Like, she's the main character. So, you know, I think ultimately it comes down to the final movie in this trilogy at least, but it comes down to it, I'd say, mainly with Sam. With Chad, I think that protector role over Tara, if you just do it again, I mean, you're kind of just rinsing and repeating the Dewey thing. I don't know what Chad necessarily has to do, because I think Chad would need to die. I think eventually, because I just felt like there was such a moment there in Scream 6 that if you did kill him, I think that'd be so much more impactful to kind of like his legacy on the franchise, and you didn't do it. So I think to really cement his legacy, he needs to die. Mindy, I'm not really sold on. I don't think you need to kill Mindy to kind of make like that statement. Tara, it's tough to think about what you would need to do to, like, because you have to compare Tara to Gale. Tara has to like take on the popularity of Gale is the popularity of Tara, and Tara's got to become better than it. That's tough. And then Sam, I think Sam going Ghostface, or just kind of playing with those emotions a little bit more. I think that's what you have to do. I think you have to keep doing it. There's no guarantee. And again, you know, apples to oranges, maybe people will say, or whatever the saying may be. You could argue, do they have to be better than Sydney and Gale and doing all that stuff? Probably not. I mean, we love Scream movies. We love them for different reasons, right? Different people love it for different reasons. It just needs to be, for me, it needs to be quality stuff. It needs to respect the past, all that, you know, all that jazz. I don't know if it necessarily even needs to. Does Scream 7 have to be better than Scream 3? Did 6 have to be better than 2? Did 5 have to be better than 1? It's subjective. It's for sure subjective. So let me know what you guys think. Hopefully you found this topic at least moderately interesting. I hope so. Thank you all for watching. As always, I truly do appreciate your support, and I hope to see you all on the next one.